Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig.
And before the show starts, you were wrong. He was wrong. It happens a lot. He liked the movie last week and tried to claim that he had seen the second one and how Bruce Campbell wasn't in it, and he said how great it was, and we got 10 minutes in, and it was absolutely terrible. And guess who was there? Bruce Campbell.
And who died almost immediately and wasn't really in the movie.
He was in it.
Yeah. Especially in that flashback scene from the first movie.
10 minutes into the actual movie.
Anyway, the point is, what I had seen was Maniac Cop 3. Anyway.
Now to this movie.
No. Now I have something to add. Apparently, looking into my Facebook history, today, 4 years ago today, was the day I uploaded our very first episode to my YouTube channel when we reviewed A Nightmare on Elm Street, which means it was like just a few days earlier that we actually filmed it, but I think I uploaded it the day it was set to air. So this would be like the anniversary.
This is the fourth?
Yeah.
Fourth anniversary of our show. Happy birthday, this.
88 episodes, it's 22 a year is what it averages to.
Yep.
It's not quite really that, but...
Oh, happy Friday the 13th.
Yes, we're also recording this on Friday the 13th, which means how many of those movies were made in the 80s and we could have done that one?
Well, one of them.
Right.
This is a third one of these.
Right, but couldn't we have done a Friday the 13th for today specifically?
Scratch this episode.
No, it doesn't really have anything to do with the set we're doing, because we're not just doing 4 80s movies. It is
just slasher,
no real plot, no, not mainstream.
Those are one of those.
Those are too mainstream. But anyway,
this week we're reviewing Maniac. It seems like we have a thing going with M's.
Yes, this is the third 80s slasher flick that we've done in a row, and it's not in a row, but for this set. And it's M, and M. So next week, look forward to, I don't know, Muppets Take Manhattan.
Muppets Take Manhattan.
Anyway.
Goodness.
That's actually a movie.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's as good as it sounds like it would be. But not really the type of thing we review here. Anyway, so before we get too far into it, do you want to give a little basic story and then we'll...
So there's a guy. He's a maniac.
And he likes to murder people.
For no reason.
Well, no, his mom died.
Martha!
No, his mom died.
Right.
He doesn't kill people that look like mom. He doesn't kill people that remind him of mom.
No.
He didn't kill his mom. It's literally just his mom died. And it bummed him out, so now he murders people. Because that makes sense. Anyway,
and he's got a kink for dolls.
Now let's
roll the trailer.
Check out the trailer.
Maniac, you can lock your doors, but you can't lock the madman out of your mind.
All right. So, that let you know a lot of how bloody it is anyway. But before we get into the behind-the-scenes information, here's what we got to do. We got to give a shout-out to our real sponsors.
Oh, no.
You know, things you can buy, places you can go, things you can do.
There's
Drink,
Colin.
drink, drink,
Guzzle,
drink,
guzzle,
drink,
guzzle.
drink, drink. Drink, drink.
He just got liver poisoning from this one episode.
Yeah, he would. If that was not, Gatorade or Powerade or whatever, he would be dead right now from alcohol poisoning.
From this one episode specifically.
Anyway, Gory Story Time is brought to you by 70style.com. 70style.com is the website where you can get authentic 70s style swag no matter the decade. From pet rocks to brown with yellow striped socks, from platform shoes to David Cassidy's hairdo, 70style.com. That's the 70s. They not only had the grooviest threads, but let's be honest, it was the best time to party. Pre-AIDS, mid-Coke. So go to 70style.com today.
Well, and by Frank's of Manhattan shampoo.
It's kind of like Tom's of Maine, only...
Not. Frank's is an all-natural organic shampoo that treats not only your hair, but massages your scalp. Frank's of Manhattan will cure,
will cure
oily hair, dry hair, dandruff, and the dreaded ginger hair. Oh, so try Frank's of Manhattan today and get your scalp minty fresh.
That's what I'm looking for, a minty fresh scalp.
Yeah,
All right.
that's the thing you do.
Now, here's what the folks are tuning in for. And by folks, I mean, like, the guy who runs
2
the
or
movie
3
theater.
people. Yeah. And the one lady who doesn't change her channel.
Yeah. I think she probably falls asleep for this.
Understandable.
Purposely.
I would too.
Hey,
What?
listen.
It's not my fault.
We have a fan.
We have a fan.
It's in
Yes.
my window right now because it's getting warm.
Yeah.
What?
It's getting close. William Lustig and Joe Spinell say they didn't always have the necessary permits to film on location in New York City. Certain scenes, including the infamous shotgun through the windshield scene, had to have been filmed quickly, and afterwards the crew had to run away before the cops arrived. Wow.
Gene Siskel was so disgusted by the shotgun head explosion scene, he walked out of the movie, saying on his television show with Roger Ebert, this film could not redeem itself after the ultra-violence he had seen. They had that in the trailer, by the way, which I
is
hate
like...
people who cut trailers when they do such a horrible job.
But it's not
I
like
mean,
this movie had
no.
a plot to ruin.
The strange events thing that happened here, okay? There was a trailer for that cut by Colin, the guy who's switching our cameras and stuff right now. Way better job than the trailer for this professionally made in the theaters film.
Hollywood film.
What does that tell you?
That tells me that Colin is on point.
And that these guys were jackasses.
Also true.
Like, I mean, seriously, it doesn't take much to not, like, put, spoilers into a trailer. Or do it in a way that doesn't spoil it.
Or put the only redeeming factor of the movie in the trailer. Like,
Yeah, but anyway.
okay. The dummy used for the exploding head scene had been used extensively by Tom Savini for effects in Dawn of the Dead. After its use in this film, it was so saturated in fake blood and gore that it was decided to retire the dummy, which Tom had named Boris. According to Savini, the dummy was locked in the trunk of the car, used in the shotgun scene, and sunk in the East River.
All right. In order to keep costs down, several porn actresses, such as Abigail Clayton, were hired to play the victims and other minor female roles. And they still found a way to find unattractive women for this movie. An 80s slasher film that does have boobs at a couple points, and they found the ugliest possible women, and you kind of go, but...
How?
But that's not what you're supposed to do.
Right. The headless corpse in the end is Betsy Palmer, the Betsy Palmer corpse, Jason's mother from Friday the 13th. The helicopter shots are recycled footage from Inferno. Wow.
Yeah. The original budget of this movie was $48,000 in cash. Suspicious much? In cash. $6,000 came from Joe Spinell, which was part of his $10,000 salary from the movie Cruising that he recently completed before filming began. $12,000 came from Andrew W. Garani, and the rest, $30,000, came from William Lustig. It was from their profits in the adult film business. The three of them put that money into the stock market account, which grew to $135,000 as production continued. It was British producer Judd Hamilton who came up with the rest of the money, around $200,000, to complete the movie as part of the condition his then wife, Carolyn Munro, would be cast as the heroine. Heroine is in female hero,
I know.
not as in like a bag of powder and a needle.
I get that.
I hope so, because that was a horrible, horrible, bad joke.
Yes. Joe Spinell was working in between the filming of Maniac with other movie projects. One of them being Nighthawks, which began filming before production on Maniac had ended, in which Spinell cut his hair short and shaved off his mustache to play a clean-cut, high-ranking New York police official for Nighthawks. In a few scenes, most of them being where Frank Zito is driving his car, Spinell is wearing a fake mustache with a long-haired wig under his cap.
The film's distributor had a unique campaign to support its release in New York. Mini-screen kiosks were set up in front of theaters that were showing the film and had several minutes of uncut footage, including some of the gory murders. However, this campaign backfired when Gene Siskel condemned it on both its regular TV reporting and at the movies, leading to a backlash against the film's violence and the cancellation of plans to have kiosks used in other major markets like Chicago and LA.
Wow. Daria...
Diarrhea.
Right. Nicolodi? Let's go with that.
Nickelodeon? I don't know.
Ian?
Nickelodeon.
Was originally cast to play Anna D'Antoni, but was unable to go to New York for filming because she was filming her scenes for the movie Inferno in Italy.
The opening scene on the beach was inspired by the opening scene from Jaws, from the point of view of the stalking shark, and it was like from his stalking.
Right.
That's the only thing it had in common with Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws was great.
We'll get into what we think of this movie later. Go
Yes. The scenes in Frank Zito's tiny apartment were inspired by the Swedish thriller Man on the Roof, with the claustrophobic setting and the quiet and subtle tone, with the sounds of dripping faucet, a ticking clock, and occasional sound of traffic from outside. The color of the crude decor of the apartment and other sets were inspired from the color theme sets of Italian horror thrillers such as Deep Red, Suspiria, I don't know, Blood and Black Lace, and several others.
Okay.
That was a lot to say.
Yeah, especially when you didn't know how to pronounce half of it.
Half of it
Anyway.
'cause they're bad.
The 1970s dark blue Buick Electra car that was driven by the killer is owned at the time by director William Lustig, which was purchased from a used car lot for $200. The car was permanently damaged late in filming when a camera mount set up by the crew to film a scene with Frank and Anna in the car inadvertently damaged the steering wheel mechanism wire, which forced Lustig to get rid of the car, which became impossible to steer afterwards.
Wow, this thing's just full of typos too. According to director William Lustig, Italian horror director Dario Argento, that was supposed to be involved as co-producer because his wife at the time was originally offered the protagonist role but was unavailable. Also, Lustig's original request for the music was to have Goblin, Argento's Italian rock metal band, to score
the movie.
To score the movie Maniac before using Jay Chataway as a second choice. Goodness.
Michael Cimbello recorded a version of Maniac as the title track for the soundtrack of this film, but was never released. While the lyrics are lurid and violent as reflections of what the movie was like, the song later caught the attention of producers who got Cimbello to record a new version and matched the film they were working on. That film was Flashdance, and Maniac became a #1 hit song. Except Maniac was originally written for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then they asked him to rewrite it for this, and then it ended up going into Flashdance. So I didn't.
It wasn't used in either of the horror movies?
No.
Why? Whatever.
Because he was inspired to sing about a dancing guy when it showed Leatherface dancing around with the chainsaw at the end.
No, I'm saying why it wasn't used.
No, I know, but I don't know.
This movie has several attributes to Psycho. Both Norman Bates and Frank Zito, your voices were abused by their mothers and are based off the real-life serial killer Ed Gein.
I don't really... the three big Ed Gein movie tie-ins are
Texas Chainsaw
Psycho.
and
Come on.
Leatherface?
That's
Part
Texas
of
Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw.
Right? No.
The movie Ed Gein.
We just did it.
Oh, Hannibal Lecter.
Silence of the Cannibals.
Sounds of the Cannibals.
Silence of the Cannibals, yes. Silence of the Lambs. Wow. And those are all good movies. See the difference?
Yeah.
Anyway, opening shots of Rita entering her apartment and all the subsequent scenes inside her apartment were the first scenes to be filmed. The climactic murder and mutilation of Frank Zito by the zombie mannequins was the last scene to be filmed. Did they have to have a fact about my least favorite thing?
Really?
Zombie mannequins? Come on.
I'll get out. Nope. A 1979 post-production ad for Variety magazine stated some of the cast, including Daria Nickelodeon, nope. Susan Terrell and Jason Miller, opposite Joe Spinell. Nickelodeon was offered to lead the lead role, but was unavailable, and no information has yet surfaced to reveal which roles were to be played by Terrell and Miller.
Okay. The movie was never given a rating by the MPAA. The filmmakers knew it would receive the dreaded X rating for the violence and the gore contained, and simply, refused to submit it for any review because at the time it was easier for unrated films to be shown in theaters than X-rated ones due to the latter always being seen, even if in this case inaccurately, as pornographic.
Right. Skip this.
You did?
No, I'm saying you. Do it. Skip that. The Los Angeles Times refused to run ads for the film due to graphic content of not only the film, but also its poster.
So you want me to skip that one?
Yeah, it's long.
Even though it talks about reels? No.
Okay.
Director William Lustig stated that co-writer and star Joe Spinell had prepared for the lead villain role by doing research on real-life killers like Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, David Berkowitz, and others. And he went to strange... places must have been exciting or exotic.
I don't know
to get into the role.
Terrible.
Yeah. Also, Lustig stated that there's even a real murder of a prostitute in the same hotel where they were filming Joe as Frank seen killing a prostitute around the same time, and the real life killer was never caught. People dressed up fake mannequins with the victims' clothes to see if they could identify them as well. What the character Frank does in this movie with his victims,
Wow. So weird.
Worded odd. Go ahead.
Yeah. Louis Jawitz, who played the role of Anna's art director, was actually a professional photographer who leased his studio to be used for one day to film the scene with Frank visiting Anna and the models. Aside from his fee, Jarowitz's only other request was to appear in the film as Anna's art director in a cameo appearance.
And just to prove Entertainment Weekly is a piece of crap, they rate this number 12 on their Guilty Pleasures Testosterone Edition list from March 30th, 2007 issue.
Really?
Do the body count and we'll get out of here.
Body count is 8.
Yeah, it says 7, not counting Frank, but since Frank dies, I'm going to go ahead and say 8. Okay. And because they would only have one chance to film the scene where Tom Savini's character gets shot, he decided he should be the one to pull the trigger. He said it felt weird shooting a dummy he had created of himself in the face.
Right.
All right. What was your... Or wait, we got to give the scores.
Yeah, so
the
critics,
people... Oh, go ahead.
critics gave it 43,
And
which
the
is
peop-
lenient.
The people had it at 58, which is horrifyingly bad because it means 58% of people enjoyed this movie, and those people need to learn what good filmmaking is.
This was a bad
And
movie.
your Aunt Jessica is one of them. She suggested this and said it was her personal favorite on the list that she suggested, and I don't get it.
I don't get this one.
But
I
she's
really
the one
don't.
that went vegan for 7 years, so you can't trust her.
Mm.
Anyway, what would you say your favorite scene is?
I'd have to say my favorite scene was, just because of how hilarious it was for me, he was walking into his apartment with a mannequin in a bag. And the whole time I was hoping so badly that it would be the lady he had just killed.
Because he was
I thought
carrying it and it was all stiff and it looked like a human body and you just were like, how bad is this acting? And then you find out it's a mannequin and it's like, okay, fine.
But it was so hilarious. Which is
All right.
bad.
I like the scene with the head being blown off because it was probably the most realistic special effect as far as...
And that's saying a lot, because that didn't look too great, actually.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I liked it, but
But compared to where he would like draw the blade across someone and you saw,
saw the blood
you
coming
saw where it
from
was
the knife.
squirting out of like something else behind the blade and yeah. I mean,
so bad.
yeah.
So very bad. What was your least favorite scene?
My least favorite scene?
'Cause-
Probably the bathroom scene because how many times does the killer have to chase someone into a public bathroom? She goes in, she or he, but usually she, goes into the final stall, climbs up on the seat, and she's hiding there like this, and then she does this. Because, you know, when you're hiding, you suddenly can't breathe normal. You have to fucking... Ooh.
Oh.
You have...
Oh, wow.
Wow. That happened. And I don't censor myself, so I won't be back in to bleep that.
My show, I don't care.
Oops. But the point is, like, all of a sudden you can't breathe normally. Like, all of a sudden it's like, there's someone trying to kill me. I have to be really quiet. I have asthma now. Like, really? That's a thing? Like, it's just so ridiculous.
We gotta
And
wrap it up.
It happens in all of them. But anyway.
Yeah. My least favorite was basically the whole thing.
Yeah, this movie was garbage. 1 to 10?
2?
I was going to go 3. But still low. All right, and we don't even have to get into why. Just know that this is awful. Watch it if you want to, but don't blame us.
It's kind of
We
on
told you
YouTube,
it's
but I
bad.
think it cut off like the last 5 minutes.
I don't know, but it was bad. And if you watch it, don't blame us. We told you it was bad. You can get a hold of us on our social media. Our email is gorystorytime@yahoo.com.
Like our Facebook page.
Yeah, you can like Fact TV on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all lowercase, all one word.
I'm at Jason T. Jakes, capital J, capital T, capital J.
And
We don't talk about the show, but follow us if you want to hear more of him cussing, because he does that.
yeah, oops,
Oops.
that happened. But, you know, First Amendment and all. I still try not to do it.
Try not to,
Probably the
because
second time I would have needed
you
to delete
youngins
something,
are watching our show.
but- Well,
okay.
if you're watching it at 7:30 on Friday or 8 o'clock on Thursday, correct?
Right, so you shouldn't be awake if you're too
Well,
young
you
to
should
hear
be
that.
awake, but you shouldn't be watching
hear
the
that.
horror movie review show.
Right. So until next time, I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig, and
Sweet dreams.